Hello, everybody. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining me and being here tonight. I hope that you are all doing well. I appreciate you being here. This is our first live for 2021. So, Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome. Thank you so much for being here and being part of this discussion tonight. Welcome, and how are you all doing? Happy New Year. I hope that you are all doing well and taking care of yourselves. Hello, Adrina. Hi, Danny. Hey, Karen. Tanya, I see you. Hello. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you are all taking care of yourself, that you are nurturing yourself. Hello, love, peace. That you are actually feeding your soul. Have you all been taking care of your soul? Have you been nourishing your needs? That's so important as part of our journey that we don't neglect, that soul care. Because a lot of the times, we focus on so many things as we journey beyond narcissistic abuse, but don't ever neglect your needs and what you need. And when you feel like this is how I'm feeling, it's you're allowed to experience your feelings, whether they're you're happy, whether you're sad. Embrace your feelings, they're yours, but don't let them, don't get stuck in that place, because remember, it's a journey and you've got to go through it. So just nurture what you're feeling so that you can continue to journey on and experience success. I thank you so much for being here. Hello, Lady B. Hi, Narc Free Living. I caught your live tonight. I enjoyed myself there. Thank you so much. Yes, you're right, Adriana. Soul care is so important. Hello, Bridget. So, today I wanted to talk a little bit about your power and victory over the narcissist. A lot of the times, hello, Gabriella or Gabrielle. A lot of the times, because of the abuse that we experience at the hand of this crazy demonic person, you end up feeling just so defeated and so crushed that you feel like I really just can't make it through this. And because of the type of trauma that you experience in, not only that, the narcissist really does set you up for failure from the onset of the relationship. Once you are hooked, they start working behind the scenes to set you up for failure. So you're floating on cloud nine, they're working with your family members, your inner circle, to start the process of devaluing you and running a smear campaign and all of that behind your back. And you just don't know it because things are still good. Things are still flowing and going, positively as far as you're concerned. But that's the thing about these people. They know that this relationship has an expiration date. They know that they're not fully committed to it. They know what they're doing. It's not the first time they've done it. So it costs them nothing. They're just the way that they are. And like I said, this is not their first time, and it's also not about to be their last time. So, in case you thought that this situation was unique, it's not. They just really repeat their habits. They're creatures of habit. They keep repeating the same things. That's why they never change. They just are stuck on raggedy. And so, you can really feel like you're stuck because you go to people who you feel like should be understanding, but then you find them siding with a narcissist. You find them really, taking their side and, making you feel like you're the person in the wrong, or that you should be over this type of relationship. Like, just get over it. It's nothing. You're going to be fine. And you just don't understand what's happened to you. And so it can make moving on difficult. And a lot of the times, you come out, sometimes you have children, sometimes you just take, you come out of the relationship and you're like, oh my gosh, where has all the time gone? It's been years and years that I've been stuck with this person, and I feel like nothing has happened. You're just confused. And that's okay. Many of us have been there, so we can relate to that feeling. And you wonder, like, how am I going to get through this? What is the next step? How do I succeed? How do I overcome? How do I defeat this narcissist? First of all, when we talk about, or when we look at it from the perspective of defeating the narcissist, um, there really isn't any competition. Because when you truly consider it, that thing has always been beneath you. All they ever sold you was an illusion to make you feel like they were above you or that they were stronger than you. The truth of the matter is, you, there's no competition for you. And so that's one of the very first things I want to share with you tonight. There is no competition. So there's nothing to defeat. You just have to now take time for yourself. This is why things like soul care are so important. Oh, you are so right, Tanya. Thank you so much for saying this. Um, the get over it statement is gaslighting and a red flag from someone who is not on your team. And that is the absolute truth. That is the absolute truth. Adriana says, funny because Roach Face is always referring to enemies as being beneath her. You know, one thing about narcs is that they're just like roaches. And I saw your Roach Face comment here. They're just like roaches, you know. They just scatter all over the place, you know, once they're caught. They just have to, you know, like, you know, turn on the light, roaches just scatter. It's like narcs when they're discovered, they have to hide. They go into hiding. They're one and the same. But you know, one thing you have to know, and you have to understand, is that they were never a part of your, you know, they never had any long-term plans for you. They never had any good intentions for you. And they have always been your enemy from the beginning. They knew, they knew. And this is where it's so crazy because they truly, you know, even though they may have given off an illusion of love, that's all it was. It was an illusion. It was fake. Nothing was real. You know, get raped. It was an illusion. And you can never forget who they are. And one thing, you know, I think one thing that really empowers us as we journey onwards is truly holding on to the facts. Facts are so important, and you must understand who they are because the truth never lies, and it's the truth that sets you free. So once you have the truth, that's what you hold on to because these things do not change at all. They do not change at all, and for nobody and for nothing. If they were to change, I bet you anything they would never have had a relationship with you because they would have changed for three people before you. They would have changed for somebody else and would never have, you know, progressed to actually getting to be in a relationship with you because they'd have fixed themselves before. They don't, and they're not going to. So, you know, you lose nothing but dead weight. That's all. You lose nothing but dead weight, a leech. You lose, you lose a headache. That's it. But the truth is so important. The truth is so important. And it's the truth that they don't want you to know. You know, they're so deceptive. And that's the only thing, you know, that's the only way that they can get you into a relationship. Because if you knew the truth, you're nobody's going to get into a relationship with these people, not a single one of us. And it's not to say that we're so fabulous or we're just, you know, so much better than them. No, we just would not involve ourselves with them because they just truly don't deserve anybody's time of day. They would just not, you know, nobody would get involved with that. That's just the facts. That is simply the facts because no. You see, when it comes to them, they play these mind games. And when they start speaking to you, everything that they have to say is truly from their perspective of how they feel. And so they dig into their little toy box so that they can see what they're going to play with to you, you know, to inflict emotional abuse on you. And so they'll come up with that verbal assault where they'll start to use their words to project how they are feeling. And this is because these creatures, mind you, they lack object constancy. So, in order for them to feel good about themselves, they have to see you as totally bad, completely bad. They have to make sure that there is nothing good, nothing honorable about you. And so they work hard at tearing you down. And they're not successful at tearing you down until you believe what they're saying. And not only that, but until other people start believing, but it starts with you believing in what they're saying. That's when they become effective. And that's when they start to see themselves as being effective. So when they start telling you that you're worthless or that you'll never find anybody as good as them, which is the goal, really, you know, their lives is so much better than then their life would be so much better without you. So would ours without them. Thank you. But they tell you stuff like that. But the truth of the matter is that is just to, gaslight you, to, to make you feel hurt, really, because they know at this point that you care. And so they're just devaluing you. But they're trying to mess with your emotions in your head. They're trying to put you in a crazy headspace, in a headspace that will keep you locked into a position that is somewhat like paralyzed, that will keep you from moving forward confidently. And once they have you locked there, they're now secure, feeling like they're important because you know what? They've got that energy from you. This is where that whole energy vampire thing comes from, because now they've sucked all of that from you. And now they truly believe, and this is where they are so crazy, guys. And because they truly believe that, oh, I am those things, because now they are looking at how downtrodden you appear to be because you believe them. But this is where the truth matters. We don't do alternative facts over here. This is where the truth matters. Narcissists are indeed weak creatures. They will never, ever move forward in life. They will never truly be happy. They will never truly experience any type of satisfaction with toxic supply. It's like being with themselves. And they don't even like being with themselves. Otherwise, they wouldn't need to be playing games with other people. They want that premium supply. They want somebody who is about something. They want somebody who brings something else to the table. They want strong people. Don't believe the lies that they tell you that you are weak because you're with a narcissist. That is a lie from the pit of hell. It is not true, and that is what they want you to believe because it makes them feel better. There goes that gaslighting and that projection again when they tell you that only weak people or codependent people end up with narcissists. Tanya did a video on that today. You got to check out her video if you did not see it, about blame shifting, putting the blame on codependence, or the title codependency on people who don't deserve it. But that's what they're doing. And it's not that you've got to hold on to the truth. The truth is what is going to set you free. And so you've got to understand that not only is the narcissist messing with your head, but they're targeting your self-worth and they're targeting your self-esteem. And ultimately, they will mess with your self-love. And once they feel like they've messed you in those areas, they really feel that now I've crippled this person. They won't be able to move on without me. I got you locked in my love cult. And you're not going anywhere, boo. Who gonna check me now is what they're saying to themselves. First of all, we are going to check you. And we're going to make sure that you know that you've been checked. Because listen, who has time to mess with this raggedy, dusty behind? It's not us. We are here to do what we have to do because life is too important. We've got important things to do with our lives. And so it's time for this discussion, I want to take the focus off the narcissist because let's talk for ourselves what we need so that we can grow and so that we can heal and so that we can move on and evolve. One thing that is so easy for us to feel is obviously we're going to be hurt. We're going to be angry. We're going to feel a lot of pain. We're going to feel cheated. We'll feel like time has been wasted. Those are normal feelings. I felt those things too. Like, I can't believe how many years I've wasted here. Because sometimes, you don't just break up with them the first time and that's it. There's a lot of instances where you go back and forth before you truly sever the ties with this person. Or so, and so even when you feel like, you break no contact and you're hard on yourself, I've done it lots of times. Don't be hard on yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. Extend some grace to yourself, because this is not a normal type of situation. And you have other things going on in the background that, until you truly have knowledge, like the Bible says that my people perish for lack of knowledge. And when you have knowledge, you have power, and you have the full tools, or you have you are equipped, just like the narcissist has their little toy box that they dig into, and they get their little raggedy dusty hands happy, and they start happy with their little fingers, taking out their triangulation and projection and smear campaigns. Yeah, we have knowledge, we have truth, we have power, we have prayer, we have the word of God. We have a lot of things that we use to develop ourselves. And those are the things that we now need to begin to draw in and pull, and pull on, to help us move beyond. And that's why the truth is so important. One thing you have to know is that your brain is so powerful. It is one of the most powerful weapons that you have as a human being. And that's why they attack your mind. That's why they start telling you things that will mess with your mind, make you feel like, hold up, wait, make you feel like, hold up, is this right? Or maybe it wasn't so bad, or maybe I can go back, or maybe if I just reworked things. Or no, none of that is true. What you experienced is what you experienced. What you felt is what you felt. They're just setting things up to mess with your mind, because they know that your mind, once you are in your right mind, there is nothing that they can do to slow you down. And that's all they have going for them. That's all they have going for them. So that's why, like, when they first come into your life, that's the very first place that they assault, is your mind. It's your mind. And that's why it's the first place that we need to fight back from. And I say that that's the first place that we need to fight back from. But don't forget that, and I'm not putting our minds and ourselves over, like the word of God, because that's where we are fortified. That's where we're strengthened. That's where we are refined. That's where we're built up. That's where we get the knowledge from, with how to fight what we are fighting with. Of course, there's lots of information out here as it pertains to what we're dealing with, but that's where we truly know, or we truly learn how to use these weapons that are ours, that are, in our brain. That's where we learn to perfect how we use them. So you've got to be sure that, you continue to pull in your faith, because essentially that is what is going to get you through. I mean, for myself, and I know for many people here, we all had to fall back on our faith and really pull into the words to help us get through. Mind control really is the narcissist playground, because they know the power of the mind. They really know. And so when you think about it, like how they start talking to you, and they just start on that conscious level and continue over and over and over, and you got to hear the same nonsense over and over again. Then they recruit their flying monkeys to tell you the same nonsense over and over again. And it just starts to seep into your subconscious, and you're like, maybe, is it true? Even if you're not feeling, even if you're not saying that to yourself, but that soundtrack starts playing as you sleep. And sometimes, they're so crazy. Like, they're so crazy because sometimes while you're sleeping, they talk to you in your sleep. And it's where it's just like, it's so crazy because, well, I mean, hold up. Why am I saying it's so crazy over and over again? We're talking about narcissists. So hello, it's going to be crazy, because they're crazy. But that's how they play these games on us. And that's why you've got to stand firm with knowing that this is where you have to fight from. So here's the thing. You walk out of the relationship and you feel that pain, right? And so you feel like you're defeated. And where I think sometimes we end up holding ourselves, or we end up staying in a holding pattern. And this is designed by the narcissist. So I'm not saying this to, say like, oh, we're making a mess here, or, you're doing it wrong. It's what they want us to do. This is how they design it, because the pain that they inflict is so devastating that we focus on the pain and how to heal that pain. And a lot of the times, we it consumes us. I know, like with myself, that pain, I mean, like, I never experienced anything like that before, ever. And it just literally is the type of pain that takes your breath away, like, yo. And then but the truth of the matter is, we start trying to find ways on how do we soothe this pain, or how do we heal the pain, when if we would start with working on our minds and reprogramming everything that they taught us or said to us or seeped into our subconscious, and worked from that perspective first, we would begin to start healing a lot faster. That's just kind of how I've learned in my healing process, because once I had the truth that, listen, this person, this is who they are, and you can't change it. Everything that they came into this relationship, and this was the breaking point for me, because I couldn't move. I was like really stuck. I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything else. But once I understood that, look, from the day he met you, this man was lying. Once I got a grasp of that, even though, it was a painful reality, I just was like, oh, okay, he's lying. Never meant, he never meant anything. And, in my mind, I'm thinking of certain moments and all of these things. And I'm like, none of it was real. None of it was real. And I had to now extend some grace to myself and say, okay, but, you showing up was real. Your feelings were real. Your intentions were real. And I had to speak to myself, to just help myself process this. But as far as he was concerned, nothing was real. And I had to tell myself that. And once I understood that nothing was real, then I was like, okay, so then who does that? Who does that? Like, who really goes and fabricates a whole relationship? You had no intention of being there, but you were there for years. So who does that? And that's when I started getting the information, and I started working from that perspective. And as I got more knowledgeable, it was just knowing that, okay, for real, it's not me with the problem. It really is him this time. And I'm not going to allow, the false labels and somebody, and the words of somebody with a whole host of demons within him to define who I am, because that's not who I am. And part of, the next thing was then, okay, I heard what he said about me over time, and a lot of it was hurtful and it crushed me. So now I need to go back to the word, because that's what's going to build me up to where I was before. And so I got into the word, and I allowed that to speak to my mind and tell me who I am. And, a lot of the times you don't feel like it, you just don't feel like it because of the pain, but it's the repetition. Just like the narcissist comes along and they start off talking to you on a conscious level, and it becomes subconscious. You got to start speaking to yourself and using the word, whatever affirmations that you want to tell yourself on a conscious level, and continue until it starts to seep into your subconscious, where you fully now begin to believe that this is who I am. And once you can accept that this is who I am, that is who you are. That is your true identity. Nobody else ever should have the ability to dictate to you who you are. And we're not going to accept anybody's false attachments, anybody's false labels anymore, because it's only our creator who knows us that intimately. Because first of all, he's the one who fashioned and formed us, that has the right to even come down and say, like, this is who you are. Not somebody who doesn't even have a roadmap to their own identity, living in a swamp. No, no, no. Yes, amen. Okay, let me see what this says. Hey, Steffi says, that's the hardest part is realizing that none of it was real, but the abuse seems real. At first, your mind misses the good parts. It eventually transitions to reminding you of everything bad. And, that's so true. They want you to miss the good parts. They want you to miss the good parts because by you missing the good parts kind of keeps you attached to them. And so, with the narcissist, they want you to remain dependent on them or dependent on them for that good feeling. And that's why they work that hard to kind of break you down and keep you in that holding pattern, hoping that if I devalue this person, if I crush their soul to the point where they're not able to move on, then you belong to me. You belong to me for as long as I need you, for as long as I want you, and you're not going anywhere. That's where they got it twisted. You don't belong to them at all. Never did, never could. And yeah, that's where they just got all of it, all of it, um, you know, um, messed up because they are so dependent on your emotions as well as your reaction. And so part of our recovery as we begin to get knowledgeable is to really take what we're learning and really just absorb it and put it to practice. I dove so deep into getting information so that I could really know that I knew how to fight this person. Because for me it was like once I saw, or once I figured you lied to me from day one, okay, all right, fine. And you think you're going to keep on playing games with me? Okay, fine. You think I'm that stupid? Okay, fine. You can think whatever you want. I fell back and got all the information I wanted. And I started watching these channels and learning about no contact and all of these things. And I was like, okay. And it's helped me. It's helped me. And from a distance, I've been able to see that these guys, I mean, the information, it's true. They really, they really are all the same. They really are creatures of habit, and they do all the same things. And so it's so important that as you heal, focus on you, take the attention off the narcissism. And part of how you're going to do that is by creating a space that is just for you. Um pick a hobby, find something new that you like, something that you've always wanted to do, something that maybe you used to do before. For some people, it could be writing, reading. When you're in these relationships, a lot of the times you can't really do what you want to do because they want to monopolize your time and the world has to evolve around them. So forget your hobbies, right? But reconnect with things that you like, and then find an environment, or find a new community where you're able to share or grow in that new, or grow in that hobby with. But when you go into this new environment, or when you embrace this new hobby, I want to call it habit, but this new hobby, make sure that this is an arc free zone. When you get there, don't allow don't allow yourself to mention the narcissist's name. Don't allow yourself to mention the narcissist's experience. Keep that to yourself. When the thought of that creature comes to your mind as you are in this space and in this time within this community, you expel that thought immediately, because this is time for you. This is what you are creating so that you can have new experiences and begin to focus forward. It doesn't matter at which point in your recovery you are. You can begin to start cultivating an authentic life for yourself to move forward towards. And, this is just going to help you because, it gives you something to take your attention off the narcissist and back to yourself. You matter. The things that you like matter. How you spend your time and where your mind wanders to matters. And by you having an environment that is completely narc free, they are not allowed in this space. They are not allowed to be on my mind during this time. Is taking your control back. And it's how you start to practice taking that control back. So even when if they cross your mind, you're going to cancel that thought. And even if it's like, you taking a scripture, you can take the scripture of casting down vain imaginations. You can say, you know what, I'm going to tread upon serpents and scorpions. You can just say, I don't have time for your raggedy behind right now. Say what you have to say to get that thought out. But remember that when you uproot something, plant something. Because when you pull something out, when you pull out that thought, you're leaving an opening there. Put something in that space. Tell yourself that I will be the best writer that there is. Put something in that space and cultivate that thought so that you can give life to that thing. For me, it became powerlifting. Didn't know what I was doing when I first got into that powerlifting studio. And, and I chose that because I always wanted to try it. But this creature would tell me that there is no way that you could do that. You're too weak. You're too this. You're too that. And I was like, whatever. And I walked up in there. And for the longest time, like I would feel like I was, I was weak because that's the soundtrack that was in my mind. But I would put on those 45s and I would go. And I'd be like, oh, snap, she did it. And then I was like, okay, so it's time to increase the weight. And I did it. And he was never allowed in my mind or in that space. So anytime I go in there, it's the headphones on and the world out. And this is time for me. This is where I focus on what I want and what I need and what I'm nurturing myself. And this time is not negotiable. I don't care what is happening in the world. As long as my kids are fine, nobody's bleeding, everybody is fine. I'm going to enjoy my powerlifting time. And that is that. Allow yourself to enjoy something that is going to feed you. It is important because we have communities, we have environments where we can talk about the narcissist all the time. But now it's have somewhere where they are not allowed. They are denied access completely. They're not allowed there at all. At all. And you deserve a space where you have total peace. You deserve a space where you are able to nurture yourself. You deserve you deserve to get to the point where you can start seeing the life that you want again. And it just starts with small steps. So even when it's like really hard in the beginning, because I started right at the beginning because I just didn't know what else to do. And I needed my mind off of this person. Start where you have to start and take those steps little by little, even if it's journaling, even if it's taking a walk, even if you say, you know what, I'm going to make my bedroom a sanctuary of peace. And when I step into my bedroom, no thought of this person is allowed in here. That means I'm going to keep my bed made, my floors vacuumed, mopped, whatever. It's going to be peaceful in there. I'm going to rearrange it. It's going to look nothing like it was when they were here, but it's your space. And no thought of that person can exist in that space. Their name can't be mentioned. And it's all about you. You deserve something that is all about you. Okay, I'm going to take a look at the comments and see what's going on. Middle world, I agree not to say their name. It gives them power. Absolutely. Hey, Anna. They don't want you to grow or learn or figure them out because they know you will leave. Absolutely. And that's why they try to keep you paralyzed and stuck. Paralyzed and stuck. Once we wake up and see exactly what we're dealing with, we exit and never look back. Game of deception and illusion is over. It's true. Once we know what we're dealing with, we go back. But, there are traps along the way because until you really know what you're dealing with, a lot of the times people do go back. It's great to have your no contact in place and, do your best to not break it. Like I said earlier, I broke it. But you pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and you try again, and you just keep going until you get it right. And you know, sometimes you keep looking backwards, and you keep seeing the narcissist as giving you these projections that they're doing so well. They're not doing well at all. Those are all lies. It is all a fantasy. Nothing that they ever do is the truth. That new relationship they have going on, nothing real's happening there. It's the same, it's the same disaster, probably even worse than what you were experiencing. That's the only constant. It just is deterioration in their lives. Nothing, there's no, there's nothing progressing there. But it, like I was saying, it's your mind is so powerful, and so you really can reprogram yourself to say, you know what, I'm going to pursue change until it becomes my habit. And so, small steps and different things, and you can set small goals for yourself to continue to hit as you go along your journey, and set these milestones so that you can, get to where you're going. But don't give up, because that gives them the victory, and nah, they can't have it. They can't have it. And it's not theirs to have. You really are the powerful one, and that you can overcome this. You can overcome this. And it's like I said, it starts with the knowledge. It starts with the knowledge, and you understanding and trusting that you're strong enough to do this. A lot of the times, we may feel like, can I really do it? You may not feel like you can do it. You may doubt yourself because you've been told all types of crazy things by the narcissist. But just take one step at a time. Sometimes you take it day by day. Other times it's moment by moment. And either way, it's okay. Whether it's second by second, it's still progress. It's still forward. And that's all. That's all it is. You give yourself the best that you can at that time, and that is more than enough. That is more than enough. Any step forward, no matter how big or small, is so much bigger or so much better than the narcissist, because they're not going forward. And another thing is that, I know I said that, but the truth of the matter is we're not comparing ourselves to them, because we're going in totally different directions. We want to find truth. We want to find peace. We want to find, or we want to get to the place of our desired fulfillment. We want to get to that heavenly version of ourselves. They want the complete opposite. They don't want truth. They want to continue to, dwell in their confusion and in their lies, and play games and live in deception, and all of that. Is completely different from us. So we're going in totally different directions. So there's no point even trying to compare them and us. There simply is no point. Simply is no point at all. At all. Hello, and thanks so much for joining us. Narcs really do drain people's energy. Not only that, the grandiosity will manifest feeling like they have all the answers at hand. Yep, they really do feel like they know, that they have all the answers at hand. And so you just have to be careful and, guard yourself, guard your heart. Guard yourself, guard your heart, and really be careful about, where you choose to invest your time and yourself as you move forward, and protect your energy. Um, you know, just taking a look. They chose their path long ago, as did we. They continue to choose their path daily because they have moments where they can really, they have moments where they are able to make a change. They have moments where, they have things settle down within them, and, they are left to deal with their raw feelings. But even in those moments, they couldn't care less. They are not going to change because they're fully committed. And when they make that initial decision to say, this is who I am, and this is what I'm committed to, and this is who I choose to serve, it's a choice they make. And so they don't budge, and they just stay right where they are. They stay right where they are. But I think, when it comes to us, our power and our victory over the narcissist truly belongs, or truly lies, in knowing who we are. Knowing who we are is knowing who we belong to. And not just knowing who we belong to, but knowing that he has given us power. The power is not that it's ours, but it's his. The word says that I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And so it's really being able to put our pride to the side and go to him and ask him, to help us. But before we can even just ask for the help, oftentimes, for me especially, I had to go with a repentant heart and be like, listen, I messed up. Because I knew from the get-go, I was not supposed to be in this relationship. But, sometimes you just kind of want what you want. And that was my first mistake. I wanted what I wanted. And I had to go back and say, ask for that. I had to ask for that forgiveness. My pride got in the way. My pride got in the way. And once I was able to do that, I can now go, because, I can now go and ask him, can you, help me get through this? Teach me how to fight. Teach me how to war in these things. You have the power to tread upon serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy. Tanya's video on Leviathan is one of my favorite ones because it breaks down one of the spirits that the narcissist operates in. And it's that serpentine spirit, the Leviathan. I'm going to go add it to the comments when the video loads up later. But when you think about how great that spirit is, when you think of the destruction that it can cause, and it's a spirit that she teaches in that video that it comes up against covenant. And when we consider God, he's a covenant keeping God. And so many times we ask ourselves like, but I was married to this person and I loved them. I did everything that a wife would do. I did everything that a husband, is supposed to do. Why didn't this work? I remember days when I would be praying and fasting for my marriage. I remember days where I would be serving in the church, praying for other people, doing all types of things. And I'm like, God, I'm taking care of your home. Take care of mine, please. And I'm thinking, I'm doing everything that I can. But yes, here's the thing. That spirit, it's against covenants. Marriage is one of God's first covenants. And so it comes against that. It's there to fight marriages. It's there to come against anything that is supposed to join people together. So, as many times as we may speak out that, we want a partner, we want somebody to, to partner with, we want somebody to be married to, we want all of these things. You also got to be on the lookout, because the enemy hears what we say. The enemy knows that, hey, I can also present something, that's going to seem real. That's why in my own spirit, I was unsettled knowing that something doesn't feel right here. And maybe I shouldn't, but I did. And I learned a lesson, right? I got bit, but I learned something. And so, you've got to be careful. What I want to say also, it just came to me, is like, you find people, like I had a comment today on a video one of my recent videos, somebody came on and said, "Hey, I'm a narcissist, and we don't like you people because you're strong. You're actually weak." And I decided I was going to talk to this person and say, "You know what? Your projection is not going to work here today. You are weak, and you come to us so that you can get the strength." And somebody made a comment underneath saying, "Oh, do you have a channel? Because I want to come and learn. It's better to learn from a narcissist." Okay. And I decided to go ahead and delete that thread immediately because I kind of felt like, that was just the best thing to do. Why would I go play with Leviathan, the father of all lies? Like he came from the father of all lies. Why do you think there would be truth in anything that they would tell you? Why? I don't know. I'm just like, oh no, I deleted it, Adriana. I deleted it. I should have saved the screenshot, but I deleted it. But here's the thing, you've got to be careful. And that just kind of dropped in my mind, it dropped in my spirit to say that. But you got to be careful because it may seem like they may give you some information or whatever, but you don't go to the enemy's camp to heal. There's so many memes that float around and say you don't heal where you got hurt. You got to come out of that. We don't keep playing with these spirits to get our healing. You come out of it and you go somewhere else. And that somewhere else is to go to him, the one who created you, the one who knows your heart, the one who is closest to you. That's where you get your healing from. But yeah, I was on that Leviathan, and that serpent spirit. So you got to just be really careful about what you do. And great point, because you made me think about something. The Python spirit, the truth twisting spirit. So these narcissists twist everything to suck the life out of you, to make it dry. And this is why knowledge is so powerful. But not everybody's table is where you eat. So just be careful. Just be careful about that. I think I say that so often, but just be careful. Right, it is foolish to play with those spirits, but you just have to really guard your heart, and also know that as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So the very things that you continue to tell yourself, the very places that you continue to go and be ministered to, the very things that you allow yourself to absorb are the things that are going to become part of your makeup. They're the things that are going to shape or frame your world. So choose the words wisely. Choose things that speak to what you actually desire and what will actually take you to where you are going. You have so much power in your journey and in your story. Nobody is more powerful than you. What is that? I wanted to say something. I forgot the scripture that I wanted to say. It's in Job. Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall become established, right? I'm paraphrasing. But basically, your words are so powerful. And even when you're weak, even when you feel like you're not strong enough to make it through, even when you feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, when you feel like I'm backed up in a corner and I can't do anything, when you have nothing left because you're still experiencing that soul-crushing pain, speak life. Choose words that will come back fruitful to you. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. You've got to choose your words wisely. Don't ever, in any circumstance, utter words that are going to be detrimental to where you are going, and not just to you, but to your children. Choose to speak something that is going to bear fruit, the fruit that you want, nothing that is going to, take you backwards. So that's what I wanted to say about that. So I'm going to see if there's any questions that you have for me. Oh, here's a great point. Physical boundaries if you need to live close to them. Physical boundaries also, like, and also if, like, if you share kids with them, physical boundaries, limited contact, also being able to define what that contact looks like. Because sometimes, the kids may still be young that you have to talk to them. So you determine how much time you're going to spend talking to them and you stick to that time, you know. Of course, they don't like that. They're going to tell you stuff like you're so immature. Yeah, okay, you think whatever you want. Don't engage them though, but let them think what they want to think. But you know what you're doing and why you're doing it and the importance of it, and you stick to your guns, and that's just it. You know, what was I saying? Set the time limit. Never ever share anything about yourself and just be boring. Don't feed them any information about your life and anything, because they'll do everything that they can to sabotage anything that's going on in your life or that is bringing you joy. Oh, they can't stand to see you happy. They really just can't. They can't stand when you move on. They just can't stand. They're so ooh. It gets so much better as the kids get older and they're able to speak up for themselves. And if they want to have contact with that person, then they can. And if they don't, then they've spoken their mind, and that's that. That video was excellent. I really enjoyed it. It was so enlightening. I'm just looking to see if there are any questions. Wait a minute. If you see them smiling, smile and wave. Oh, that's what we're calling them now? Sour, salty, dusty behinds. Oh, yeah. Hold up. Here we go. They will use noise campaigns and energy weapons just to violate your space when they are not welcome. You know the saying, empty vessels make the most noise. It fits them perfectly because that's exactly what they do to bring attention to, to the situation that they are now trying to control to make you look like, make you look in a particular way. But, you know, you can never argue with a fool. They will always expose themselves for being who they are. They are just who they are. Um, they just are that. So, yep, empty vessels make the most noise. Here's a question. Let's see. It says how to stop hacking team of narcs that steal money to pay off cops. Ooh, a hacking team of a hacking team of narcs. So are they hacking like on your computer? How are they getting access? How are they getting access to the money? Do they have access like to an account information and they are taking the funds that way? I'm kind of curious as to how they're able to get that money so that they are able to make those payments. And if they do have that access, is there a way to get a new account information or to get a new account that they don't have access to? so they wouldn't be able to continue to tap into that. I mean, when it comes to these people, some of them are so, we have some that are just plain dumb. Then you have those that are kind of smart and they're kind of tech savvy and they're able to figure some things out. So, they just keep your head going because they're able to do these things. My phone, my friend's phone, they steal from many. How are they getting into your, okay. But do you live with an arc? I'm I'm waiting. I'm trying to see. Like, I see where you said like my phone, right? Do they have actual physical access to your phone and they're able to, hold your phone and, use it to get into your banking information? I'm trying to see how they're doing that. I'm gonna come back to that though. Okay, in the meantime, let's look at this. It says, what do you say to those that say stop playing victim? Move on already. Um, sometimes I wouldn't say anything to them. I'll just make a mental note of what they said and check off a box in my head and, say this person is gaslighting you. And I know that I'm going to stay away from them because, you know, part of your healing journey, I feel, and this is my perspective, part of my healing journey, right, is allowing myself a space that makes sense for me. And because it's my journey, right? So it's your journey. It has to make sense to you because everybody's healing pattern is not going to look the same. It's not going to be identical. You have to remain authentic to what feels right to you. So when people come and they start gaslighting you and making you feel like, you're playing the role of the victim here when you know what you've been through, I'm silencing that voice and I don't want to hear it. So that person is put on pause. I may never speak to them again. It just depends. Maybe once I'm better or, I'm further in my journey, we can reconnect. But immediately, there's nothing more for me to say. I tend to not use too many words. I could let them know, I didn't appreciate what you say. I feel like you're gaslighting me. It just depends on that particular relationship. But the most important thing is recognizing what is happening and allowing yourself, allowing yourself the grace to know that, look, what happened to you is real. The pain that you feel is real. And nobody can tell you when to move on because if it was them, they would be wanting to be heard and they would be wanting to be seen. They would want their experience to be shared with somebody else if the tables were turned. And so, I would just, I wouldn't pay attention to that. And it's hurtful because I've heard that, but I had to shut that noise out because if you entertain it, it prolongs your journey because sometimes we can internalize that and say, well, what's wrong with me? Why can't I move on? There's nothing wrong with you. What you experienced was emotional abuse. What you experienced is narcissistic abuse. And it's going to take some time for you to recover from that. It's a journey. And this journey is not a sprint. It's a marathon. It's going to take time. So you give yourself the space and the time that you need and create an environment that is supportive and conducive for your healing. Not everybody's going to be part of that. And so sometimes you're just going to have to be put to the side because then, they will do more harm than good. Got to separate the wheat from the tares in this instance. What does a narc do when they get dementia? I actually have a video on this. The narc as they get dementia. Um, You know, when people are aging and they get sickness, right? It's really interesting. When you have like people who are just like of a healthy disposition, who are non-narcissistic, there are certain things that they're going to go through. There are certain behaviors that they'll adopt um, as part of the sickness and the progression of the sickness. But when you have somebody who is of narcissistic nature, or who just has MPD, and a lot of the times, because I work with or I spend a lot of time with people who are, who are at the end of life, their family will tell me what they have experienced, or, I get to know a lot about what's going on with these people. And so sometimes, you can just hear the family talk about them, that I can know, okay, this is what we're dealing with. And you can really see the difference in how the person and how the disease progresses. You'll find that with a person that is more toxic and narcissistic, them losing control of their minds and them losing control of their body and their body functions, they're more aware of it than those who are not. And having said that, it's almost like it's almost more torturous for them, simply because they know that they're losing this part of themselves. And it's, you got to see it to grasp what I'm saying, because they really know something is happening to me and I'm losing every bit of power and control that I have. And so that meanness comes out even more than it does with other people. You'll find people say, well, that's not true because this is how, but how many have you sat with? How many people's hands have you held who are like this, that you can draw that comparison? They become even more meaner, grumpier, and they have an awareness of where they are in life. And even some people will have like moments of clarity where you can almost see a sadness in their eyes, and you try to talk to them to figure out, like, are you okay, and what can I do to make you feel more comfortable or better? And just those words are enough for them to just explode. And then they unleash this narcissistic rage, that the other person would just look at you and smile, like looking at you from a distance. And I mean, the difference is, it's night and day. It's night and day. End stages of life for people with MPD is really interesting. It's really interesting to see. And it's really interesting because it's so different. It's so different. I know we all have our own path that we have to take, and we all have to be mindful of this, and we all have to work towards that path, that that we would leave this place peacefully, that we would leave this place and go to we will go to a peaceful eternal rest, right, in Him. They know, they're fully aware. And it's like, what has been going on the inside of them, they become sometimes more connected to that, because they'll tell you, like, the voices or the people inside of me, they just start saying things that you end up knowing. This is why I became convinced that these people are actually possessed, because of what people in end stages of life end up saying and giving away. And the other people who are not, whose family members, whose doctors tell you, no, this is how this patient is. They don't do that. They don't say things like that. They don't have those experiences. They are, it's night and day. It's night and day. And, whenever I get like a new, like if I was going to go and volunteer, let's say for hospice or something, and I don't just say, oh, I want to volunteer for hospice. I actually just sit around and I just kind of know I'll be going about my day and I'll just get this something, just this feeling that, oh, you're going to get a client soon. And I'll be like, oh, okay. And it's not something that I truly enjoy doing. Now, let me not say that. It's nothing that I would say, hey, I want to go do this. It's just not like that. But this thing comes over me and I'm like, okay, I know I'm going to go do this. And I start preparing myself mentally, emotionally, and spiritually because it is such an exhausting thing to go through. And so I'll start to prepare myself for that. But I remember having to go to two separate people at the same time and being able to experience the different types of energies between the two people, the different types of atmospheres. And right at the end of life, and I mean, when I tell you like I have to prepare myself, I'll go through a period of fasting and prayer so that I know that, because I can't do this on my own strength. And I want to know that, I go there and I'm prayerful about this person. I'm not going to be judgmental. I'm not going to be fearful, but I'm really just going to go and, serve this person because who knows what they need? Who knows what that family needs? Because you don't just take care of the person who is in the bed, who is on their deathbed, but it's the family. They love this person and all of that. So, you also have to take care of their needs and you also minister to them. And so, I could be like, you walk into the room and you can feel a force that is fighting you the minute you get in there. And this is why I say, like, I would never just be like, yeah, I want to go. And it's really one of the most challenging things about this is like right when it's like, I remember one time with one particular client, and I really liked this man. I got to like him because I don't know, I just got to like him. And he was an old man. But the thing with him is we didn't get a chance to really talk because once I got there, he had fallen into that state of, being subconscious or unconscious, should I say. And nobody was there. No family came at all. Nobody. They had written him off. And, why I say I liked him is more, my heart went out to him. I just, said, what kind of life is this? That they reject you and the doctors, the nurses actually told me what the family said. And I was just like, wow, and, it's, you hear what you hear and it's just like, wow. And you pray for the person. But I just stood around. In fact, I sat around for a minute and, okay. And I felt this presence in the room, but it was so frightening. And you just get into that state of all you can do is pray. There's nothing else for you to do. All you can do is pray for this person, but they themselves, even in that state that he was in, became alert because he knew what time it was. And so did I. I knew that it was just a matter of time before he went because that whatever was there for him. But it wasn't like, the normal peaceful passing of other people, because the moment that presence came in there, or the moment I could feel it there, I just knew like, oh my God. And even before they slip into that state and you pray can I pray with you? Whatever, they don't want it. They don't want it at all. They will tell you they don't want it at all, right up to the end. And so I do see sometimes in some videos, people will make comments that, their family member or whomever that they, experienced this with actually did, at the very last minute or towards the end, give their life to Christ and they received salvation. I personally haven't experienced that with any of them, but I wish I would because it would give me a different perspective and a new experience. I just haven't encountered that yet. They fight it to the end, but I mean, the presence in the room is what is one of the most frightening things ever. And I mean, like, If I didn't pray before I went, there's no way I could stay at all. There's no way. Because sometimes it's just you and them like overnight. Like, hello, no way. So those moments are kind of frightening. So no, I wouldn't, So whether they have dementia, whether they're whatever they have that takes over their body and they start losing control of their bodies, they just progress differently than other people who are not of that disposition. They become more aware of their destiny. They become more aware of the things that are working against them. They become more aware of the opportunities that they had to change. And I think it's also part of the bitterness, the resentment, the anger that keeps them stuck and refusing to move on and say, you know what, okay, pray with me, or, maybe I can make a change. They choose to hold on to the lie of the enemy that tells them that they're not good enough or that they'll be rejected. Because as much as we can say that, these creatures are demons, they are being tormented themselves. But it's something that they came into agreement with at some point in their lives. And they just are committed to it. They're just committed to it. So I don't know if that answers your question, because I went over there with it. Let me see if I was trying to see if I could go back to that other question that we were on. I was trying to go back to that comment or that question about what was it about the narcissist taking money. And I was trying to figure out, because she said it was from the phone. So I was like, okay, did they actually have access to the phone, or were they breaking into the phone? But I'm guessing she said hacking. I don't know if you can change your banking information. Like, I don't know. Like, like they're paying off the police. That's the thing, is that they're so, it gets tricky when they start working with law enforcement who are just narcissistic like them sometimes. And so it makes it harder for you to get the justice that you deserve. But I think, as much as you can, get your banking records to show where the funds are being taken, and fight it from the bank if you can, so that you can try to get your money back, as well as maybe change your banking information, get a new phone, like a totally new phone provider, new phone company, not just, a new phone number, but like a whole new provider, different handset that they don't have access to. And even with all of these things that they're doing, continue to document everything so that you can have, a record of everything that you're experiencing. Oh boy. Okay. They hacked my police reports, doctor's records, stealing my mail, judge records, credit reports. Have you gone down to the police to actually, I'm guessing you have, but like to actually file charges, or to figure out, like, as far as what you can do in your state, what the law says that you can do to stop this type of harassment from happening, what legal steps, or like maybe you have to get an attorney now to fight on your behalf, because it's going to take, some extra help at this point. Because if they're hacking police reports, doctor records, mail, which is a federal offense anyway, you need an attorney so these creeps can get locked up. Because sometimes you got to fight fire with fire, and see how best you can go about getting an attorney to help you, to fight the narcissist. Because at this point, if they're doing all of this and not learning, and you're also encountering difficulty with the police, you're going to need somebody with some, with that, you're going to need an attorney to help you. That's the only thing that I can think of at this point. It just seems they're coming from every angle. I'm sorry that you're going through that, because that's exhausting to just think about. Yeah, I'm like you, Christy. I'm not a tech genius. Like, I don't know if they're breaking into the router or what it is, because I'm trying to think about, like, how they could do that. Because I know these things are so difficult. Like, they can be difficult to prove, but once you start doing stuff like mail and credit reports and all types of other things, and if you have proof, though, you'll be able to quite possibly. Oh, he's not able to. Um, I'm gonna look for. I don't know if you saw the live that Tanya did with. She had a guest who was who knew a lot about, fighting hackers. I'm gonna ask her for that link, and I'm gonna post the link in the comments for this video, so that you can see it. And I'll get his information for you, and I'll add it to the comments here. So hopefully, you're able to speak to him to see if he can give you more advice for your situation, to see, because that's what he does. He has a security firm. So maybe he can give you more specific information to help you actually protect yourself with everything. Because I see where you're saying that you've changed your phone number several times. And so that's exhausting. That is exhausting. I'll get that information. I'm going to make a note of that. And I hope that he's able to help you and, get some type of answer and resolve for that. I'm just going to see if there are any more questions here. You're welcome, Robert. I don't see any questions. I just see comments. Yeah, I don't see any questions, but this was our first live for 2021. So I want to thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope that you all have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for tuning in and being part of the conversation. Adrina, thank you so much for being here and helping me tonight. Everybody, I appreciate you all so much. And, I want to just say, just be true to yourself on your journey. Not everybody's journey is going to be identical, just like our fingerprints are different. We are all going to require a little different thing, a few differences here and there as we heal, but just remain authentic to yourself. And don't ever neglect the importance of nurturing your needs. When you feel like maybe you're being triggered, take a moment to figure out what that trigger is and take care of it. Do your best to figure it out and nurture that need, because it's important. It's a signal that there's something that you need to pay attention to. It's not a bad thing. It's part of learning yourself so that you can better protect yourself and preserve your energy. So I just want to thank you so much for being here tonight. Have a great evening, everybody, and I'll see you next Sunday.